What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Slate D-Biggs for AnimeMCS, back with some Kingdom greatness. Today, I want to talk about who I think killed the Zhao King and the rest of the events that took place in chapter 644. Before we get into this chapter, though, I want to say thank you so much for all of the Kingdom support that I get. Kingdom community is on fire. And subscribe if you like your Kingdom content, all the other dope anime and manga content that we'll be putting out. Also, when I get 100 subscribers, we are going to be the RiShin unit. You know, I'm going to be a 100-man commander, and I will not let you down. And if anyone is interested in anime podcasts, me and my brother Abyss do the MCS Anime Podcast. Random anime topics from random anime fans. Maybe you'll enjoy it. We are definitely going to keep improving. So without any further ado, let's get into this chapter. So it starts off with Riboku imprisoned, and he's being told your execution's tomorrow. Do you have any last words? And even up until this moment, this man is not crying, he's not pleading, he's not begging for his life. That's not the kind of guy Riboku is. And a lot, you know, as much as I don't like the dude, fucking props for that. I like how there's a whole day before the execution. They're like, do you have any final words? He's still got a whole fucking day he could speak. Up until these last words, though, Riboku is only worried about Zhao's defense. You know, he's a real countryman, man. He's a fucking patriot. If this was modern times, Zhao would be America for sure. I hate that I just made that comparison. Comparing the pedo king and Donald Trump, I like it. So yeah, this Kakukai dude is a butt munch, man. Riboku gives his final words, and the other dude that they were talking to is like, yeah, so, I mean, how are we gonna get these final words? Wham! He fucking backhands him. Like, we're not telling anyone. So not only do you have the terrible Zhao King, but also this absolutely terrible dude, like, running half of the shit.
He's like this guy, but possibly worse.
So in my last couple videos, I, talked about how we might get a little mini arc for everything that's about to go down in Zhao. And it's looking like they cut this mini arc down to, like, maybe 2 chapters. Because a lot of the events that I thought were going to take multiple chapters to unfold happened in one. Yes, this is where it gets bananas. So Prince Ka is trying to plead with his father. Do not kill Riboku. Come on, man. He is the last thing keeping us from getting completely marched over by the Shin. What are you doing? He says it a lot more eloquently than I did, for sure. But, the Zhao King thought, oh, what a beautiful moment. My son's really grown. He just made a really fair point. I think I should listen to him. Wrong! He pretends to be sweet, and he comes up and embraces him in a hug, and then he bites his son's ear off and fucking spits it on the ground like that's what you get for talking back to me, you little piece of shit. And after he just ripped his own son's ear off and spit it on the ground, he's smiling like he's so proud of himself for what he just did. This man is so twisted. And what we see happen to him at the end of the chapter, super satisfying. Super gross, but satisfying. So after this happens, it looks like the retainers of Prince Ka are bringing him away so he can get looked at, he can get checked out medically, because let me tell you, man, if you get bit by a human, there's so much bacteria, it's probably going to get infected, and that shit'll kill you real quick. Well, anyway, whenever they're dragging him away, one of them is looking back, like, he's sweating. I can't tell if he's just, like, looking like, did I really just see that? Or is he thinking about taking revenge? They already know that the king's been fucking up and he's going to cost the whole country. But after what he just witnessed, who knows? I think that what we see happen at the end of the chapter has to do with his son and not Riboku's supporters. Now, I don't know how close this records clerk A is to Kakukai or the king himself, but he could have a different allegiance altogether. This county clerk, or not county clerk, this records clerk could be a supporter of his son, or like just, someone who actually cares about his country.
I believe that his death we see at the end of the chapter isn't going to be the end exactly of the madness going on in Zhao. He probably called the records clerk so he could change the legitimacy of like who becomes the next king. So it's not going to be Ka for sure, and they're going to have to jump through some more hoops because legally he's not going to be made the king. So there is going to be a little war that breaks out in Kanton. Whether that can subside before Ousen gets there, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Him and Kakukai and some of the other palace servants are for sure some of the people that see the king last before he's poisoned. Getting a little bit ahead of the chapter there, though. So we cut back over to Gyo, and Ousen has sent orders. He's on the front lines, observing what's going on in Kanton, and he can tell something strange is happening. So chronologically, I don't know if this happens after what we see at the end of the chapter. Not very clear on that. So if there's enough strange events going on around the capital that Ousen can observe, I think it would have to be a huge thing that happened, like the king dying. But MouTen does say tomorrow is the day that Riboku will meet his end. So chronologically, it is not too long before the moment that we just saw with the king biting his son's ear off. But we also don't know exactly how much time takes place in between that moment and when he gets in the bath with all of his kids and gets shit-ass drunk. That shit-ass drunk comment I just made was way too literal, bro. So due to observing all this craziness going on, Ousen is planning an all-out offensive. They're gonna send everything they got at the capital. But that is all of our boys we get to see this chapter. Then it goes back over to Riboku's supporters just being really depressed and planning to just assault the execution grounds. Whenever Riboku is about to be executed, they're gonna go all out. And while they're making a bunch of ruckus, they're going to have Kaine and some other people sneak over to get Riboku. Even though that's probably not a great idea, she got injured pretty bad. If anything, she's about to get a mouthful from Riboku, just like Ousen did to Ohon when he's like, Daddy, I'll save you. Shun Suiju is an interesting character because he's like, you can tell that he's got the intellect, but I don't think he's aggressive enough to act on a lot of, his plans and whatnot. He pulled some sneaky shit whenever they were fighting against Yotanwa and God Heki! But Heki's godliness was too much for Shun Suiju. It was totally all Heki. Heki's the only reason why they won that fight, you know it. Assaulting the execution grounds is not going to be easy, though, because they're going to have basically all of the city's guards and army hanging out there. All of the army that did not go help their country not get taken over. If the king was not such an idiot, they would not have lost Gyo. So after Shun Suiju and Kaine and all of them are having their little chit-chat, it goes over to fucking Kakukai, and he's like, oh, the preparations are almost complete, but where's the king? Oh, he's bathing with all of his children. It's what do you expect? He's getting shit-ass drunk. I gotta say, his drinking goblet, I think you would call it, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, it's pretty ritzy. It's probably all gold and shiny. I would drink a lot of Gatorade out of that if I had it. You know it's bad when a bunch of children are telling you you've had too much to drink. And in this moment, not only is he binge drinking, but he's also binge drinking poisoned alcohol. I'm pretty sure it's poisoned because after he falls down on the ground, his skin gets all veiny. That's kind of how Hara portrays poisoning, as we've seen in the past. So he decides, you know what, maybe I've just been in the bath too long. And he gets up, and then his heart starts to throb.
I mean, dear God, I hope that's his heart.
Collapses on the ground. He shits all over the place. I think that's shit. It could be blood. First off, about the Zhao King's death. I think I'm going to have to spend a while grieving. Pour one out for your boy. The Shin just lost its greatest defender. He was a man. He was a man, yes, and he should be an honorary 6th great general. I've never been simultaneously so happy and sad at the same time. For real, it is kind of a bummer because now that he is dead, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder for them to take the capital of Kanton. And I know, chronologically, according to history, which Hara doesn't have to stick to, Zhao doesn't fall for a while now. So rejoice! The pedo king is dead. But who killed him? We know some of the last people to see him were his son's retainers, some of the other palace servants, including these children, and the clerk, Kakukai. Kakukai obviously wouldn't have done it.
On second thought, for all we know, for some ungodly reason, this guy could have made the clerk change it so he becomes king after Pedo King dies. Fucking piece of shit.
And I don't think that Riboku's supporters had anything to do with it. I even doubt that it was people from within the palace, like his son's retainers. And while they would have had a very, very good reason and easily could have acquired the means to get to him, the king, so easily, I don't think it was them either. I honestly think the kids acted on their own. They're not like brain dead idiots. They could realize like, hey, I'm being mistreated. I don't really like this, but could they come up with a plan really to poison the king? We do see this little moment where their eyes are, they're just dead looking at him down on the ground with shit all over the place, and you know, this horrible, horrible scene. And they start smiling. Now, are they smiling because the person that's been, you know, terrorizing them basically is dying, or was their ultimate plot like, are they smiling because it worked? He pleads for them to go get the physician, and none of them move, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're in on the plot. They could just have decided, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna watch him die. And honestly, even if he called the physician, there's absolutely nothing they could have done. So, he went out Joffrey style. We did not see Joffrey shit all over the place, though, thankfully. Rest in peace to the greatest defender. Ousen is about to storm into Kanton, or he's going to attempt to. And we're just going to have to see how this whole situation unfolds. This arc is going to be intense. This might even be better than the Western Zhao invasion arc that we just went in. And is this just going to be like the inner Zhao invasion arc? As far as I know, Huan Yi, or Conky, goes on like a northern campaign, and they take cities up north, like all the way around the capital. So the Shin has territory on both sides, like top and bottom. I guess we'll see how Hara plays it all out. This one got a little long. I didn't expect to talk about the Zhao King shitting everywhere and dying for so long, but I ended up doing that. So anyway, that's all for this one. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace out.